Welcome. I'm Susan Roberti, and welcome. Let's talk tail waggers. I have one of our most favorite gentlemen today. His shows are always so loved. We learn so very much about birds. I did not realize how much there was to them and the enjoyment that you can have from them. But I surely know that you've learned over the years how wonderful little creatures that they are, and the hard work and love it takes to have one. But before I introduce everyone, I would like to say thank you to my camera person, and your name is?
John.
John. Thank you, John. You know, BPTV's all volunteers, and you are more than welcome to come up and learn how to do cameras. Just visit our station, do a show, do one show, two shows, or go out in the field with us and see how that is when you go out to shoot a show. I'm going to be working on my 19th year here, and every single solitary show and day that I've been involved with BPTV has given me great joy. So if you want to stop up, come on up and say hi. We always like to see ya. So now I'm going to give everyone a hi. Hi, John.
Hello, Susie.
How are you?
Again, just a pleasure to be here today. We always enjoy coming down for the tail waggers.
Thank you. And here's our Shelby. We never had Shelby before. This is his right-hand girl, right?
Exactly, yeah. Shelby came and started actually helping me out when she was 15 years old. And Shelby has been just a great asset to the program. Extra eyes when we need them, and she does such a great job, and we are really proud to have her with us because she does such a good job.
You have to be a special person. You truly do, to be around these birds and enjoy being with them, because sometimes they get a little bit upset, and you have to be able to calm them and not be frightened of them. You have to be a brave soul.
That's right. And again, she does just a great job. We are so pleased to have her with us.
And John is going to have something different today for us. He's not going to have the abused birds today, but he'll tell you.
Yeah, we're going to do the last few shows that we've done. It's all the horror stories about rescued birds, the birds that have been abused, neglected, mistreated, confiscations from humane societies. Today, we're going to look at some of the birds that have come into my rescue because of situations with certain families, whether it's been a health problem or people that have gotten married, that have had these birds for a number of years. And I'm proud to do this because a lot of people that I take some of these birds from, I tell them I like to keep in contact with them to show them the progress of the birds and how they're making out. And some of them I've had many years, and I have one here that I've had for 1 week. And Sierra up there, we'll get to her when time allows.
The movie star.
The movie star. But if we can, we'll start with this little girl here. Now, she is called a female red-sided eclectus. These birds we find in the Solomon Islands of Indonesia and in Australia. Now, her name is Tessa, and Tessa's problem, when she was hatched, her mother sat on her too long and her legs became splayed. They were actually out to the side, and it was never really caught, and she has some nerve damage in her feet. She can't really perch like the other birds do. And her counterpart is up there in the middle. If you want to get a shot of the bird up there in the middle, that is the male eclectus. These are probably the most dimorphic birds. We say the birds that you can look at and tell right away. That's the male up there. That's Kiwi. And Tessa here is the female. They are both the same species of bird. It's just that they look so different. Actually, when they discovered these birds, they thought they were two different types of birds. but they are both the same, a red-sided eclectus.
And she is gorgeous. Oh, if you could just see how soft and beautiful her feathers are.
And their feathers are more hair-like. They are not like the feathers of the other types of birds. They're more hair-like.
I could just squeeze her. So if I was allowed to, I'd just squeeze her and hold her all day. Huh? So then she wouldn't have to know how to walk, because I'd just have her all day.
And let me see who we can get down here.
Is she going to be okay by herself?
She'll be just fine. Let me see if I can reach back here. Come here, Peachy. Come on.
Peachy.
Now, this is Peaches.
Oh, Peaches.
Peaches is called the Moroccan or salmon-crested cockatoo. They get that salmon crest name because all her feathers on her crest are a salmon colored. Very beautiful. Now, Peaches here came from a family who really loved this bird. They had her, I believe, 7 or 8 years. They decided to get married, and then the little one came along. And they have a beautiful little son, and the bird didn't take to the baby being there. Yes, because these birds will bond with one person, and the baby being a new person in the family, he really didn't allow that. The Moluccans here are known as the loudest birds in the world.
Oh.
This bird screams to capacity. In the homeland, they can be heard 5 miles away.
Oh, how nice.
So if they scream like that in the room you're in, you probably won't need your ears ever again. But Peachy has just been a joy. She's doing, or he is doing a lot of programs now, and getting used to all the different types of events that we do. The senior citizens just love him because he's sort of like my Poppy that I've had on other shows, just a real cuddle bug.
Yes.
And
John goes around to the nursing homes and brings his birds, and everyone just enjoys him so.
Oh yes, all ages, definitely
yes,
enjoy.
all ages.
But that's Peachy, and she really does a
She's
great
gorgeous.
job. Come here, baby.
Oh my.
Another type of bird, one you don't see that often in aviculture, is the Pyonis. This is Sherbert. And Sherbert is called a blue-headed Pyonis parrot, sort of a cousin to the Amazons. Sherbert here, I was doing a pet expo down in Morgantown, West Virginia. And some people, they did a news clip before the expo, and some people come in, and I saw that they had looked like a bird cage with a cover on it. They came up to me and they said, "Are you the guy that takes birds that people don't want?" And I said, "Yes, I do." They set the cage down and they said, "Here, it's yours," and they took off. And we never really knew the age of Sherbert here, but they said that this was one nasty biting bird. And Sherbert has been great in the aviary, at the shows, sits very well. And again, a parrot that you don't see many like. This is the blue-headed Pyonis. Beautiful colors, though.
Oh, the peach in the back is beautiful, too.
But just another one of our stories that
Isn't that amazing?
that
Someone just brings a cage and sets it down and says, "Here, goodbye." Oh, thank heavens we have John.
Come here, sweetheart. Up, up, up.
Aww.
And here's one we want the former owners to see. This is Django. Django's just like Poppy that I've had on former shows. And Django here, sort of the same type of situation. This lady always wanted a larger bird. And she did all the research and studied about what an umbrella cockatoo would be like. And they brought Django in, and once he got settled, he started the screaming, very similar to Peaches up there. And they really did not know how to control it, what to do. Then the bird started attacking other family members. So they really wanted to look out for the welfare of the bird, and I got the call We took Django in. You're just a mumblebug, aren't you? And him too. He's doing great at all the expos. Many birds that you take that were lone birds, you're always worried about the fact that they won't get along.
Yeah.
You know? And he does great. It seems like the more people that are around, the more excited he gets, huh?
Well, that's because he's so pretty.
Right.
He knows it.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, I'm
Yes,
so
sweetheart.
gorgeous.
Yeah, you're a good baby.
Oh, she's such a good little girl sitting here. Oh.
And the little break in between, Shelby here has also started her own little rescue. And we had a call from the Washington Humane Society a while back, and they took in a number of cockatiels, the small little cockatiels. And Shelby has some pictures here of them. If you want to, if you want to show them, and just go through them real quick.
Okay. All right. So some of the cockatiels that I got from the Washington County Humane Society include these birds that were a hoarding confiscation. So the person had them along with other animals, and there were actually 8 cockatiels. They were all kept in a very small cage. Now, the 4 that I got, 3 of them actually are special needs. You see, this is Buzz here. And Buzz, you can see that he doesn't have any feathers on the top of his head. Now, we assume that the feathers were probably pulled out by the other birds that were in the cage with him. And whenever we got him in, he was always hanging vertically on the side of the cage. There was just one bar, actually, in there for them to perch on, so he didn't have any place to sit.
Oh, my.
Let's see. And then this is my one-eyed girl, Jill, here. Jill, like I said, she just has the one eye. She's missing her right eye, and that's another thing we think that was pecked out, actually, by the other birds.
A lot of people will put birds in together, just thinking because they're all the same species or whatever, that they'll all get along. But when they are confined to a very small area, they have a very hard time. They try to each get to the food, and they become territorial, even in a small area like this. Who else we have?
And then this is Gimper here. She kind of got her name because you can see that she is crippled. On her right leg is very similar to this bird here.
Tessa?
That on Tessa there, it's crushed. Actually with Gimp here, and her right wing actually was broken at one point and healed over. So as of right now, she's unable to fly, but we're hoping with some physical therapy that maybe we might be able to get her pectoral muscles up, and hopefully she can fly again.
And do you think this was because people just didn't realize what was going on?
Breeding situations. Many people will buy a pair of these birds to breed them, because the parrots, they bring a high price, especially the large ones. And then people say, well, you know what, they lay 3-4 eggs at a time, and I can get $2,000 for each bird.
Oh, bingo.
So they look at it as if I don't have to work anymore.
Right.
But a lot of times these birds won't lay eggs for 2 or 3 years, and when they do, perhaps they're not fertile. And people that really get into it, and then they see, well, I have to feed these birds every 2 hours with a little syringe, and it starts taking the toll, and they're like, it's not worth it.
No.
So the next thing you know, and if they do have babies, now it's they have to sell them.
Find a home.
Find the homes and people that want to buy them. And anymore, they're not out there. So the next thing you know, in the case of these cockatiels, they have 8, 15, 20 that they're unable to get rid of, and it turns into a hoarding situation.
Exactly.
With these birds. So
and that's the same way with puppies and cats and anything. People think, oh, the cat's going to have 5 babies, so that's 5 times 400, and it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
The cat has to have cesarean and blah, blah, blah,
For sure. But, yeah, and let me see here. Come here, sweetheart. Come on, baby. Come here.
Oh, God.
Now, this bird usually confuses people when I introduce. This is Hans. Hans is called a Hans macaw. And people, they say, well, the macaws, aren't they the large, colorful birds? So Hans must be a baby. He has to grow up to be like the large macaws. Well, Hans is not a baby. We have what's called mini macaws, and we find these birds in Central America. And Hans here, the same idea. The owner had some health problems and looked out for the welfare of the bird, wanted him to have a good home with others of his kind. But this is all the bigger Hans gets. And they are called the mini macaw. Very colorful under the wings. They're also called a red-shouldered macaw. You can see the little bit of red underneath the shoulder there. But it's a very educational thing when people think that only the large, colorful birds are the macaws, when there are what we call the mini macaws. And we are very happy to have Hans here as well because of the educational end of our program.
Hi, Hans.
Mindy, baby.
Oh, Lordy.
And we'll bring one story in that
Hello, beautiful.
isn't as pleasant, but surely turned out very well. This is Shine. Shine is called a black-headed caique, and we find these birds in Ecuador. This is Rizzo. Now, Rizzo is a pineapple green-cheek conure. We find them in Panama. Now, Rizzo here, because of the coloring in the front, the beautiful colors, they bring a little more money for the pet industry, other than the normal green cheeks. And they had Rizzo in with larger birds. Now, evidently, he got into a little scuffle over some food, and a larger bird bit off his upper mandible. It is completely gone. Well, the people had called me and they said, you know what, we can't feed this bird every day. It can't eat, it'll probably just starve. So I took Rizzo in and I fed him, just like a baby bird. Then he started using his lower mandible to scoop soft fruits and vegetables. And one day in the aviary, couldn't find Rizzo. And I thought maybe something had happened. But on further investigation, Shine was feeding Rizzo.
Oh, my.
These two have become bonded. Now, even the experts that I've worked with over the years say, well, no, that's highly unlikely that two birds of two different species from two different parts of the world would actually bond with each other. Oh. But these two, you can't separate them. Oh. And Shine always makes sure that Rizzo now has something to eat. So that's a happy story. This has been going on over 3 years. Over 3 years we've been doing that.
That is so, oh my. And they say that animals don't know and don't have feelings. Just
Come on, sweetheart.
so beautiful.
The things they do for each other.
There we are. And another bird that we are very proud to have.
And the colors, oh.
We want her former owner, Joanne, to see. This is Sierra. Now, Sierra is a hybrid macaw. A lot of people, they mix the different species. This bird is the cross between a blue and gold macaw and a scarlet macaw. And she had been in the same home for 13 or 14 years. And because of a family situation, they were moving, and they wanted Sierra to have a good home. And actually, Shelby was involved with this because it was sort of through the grapevine that they had talked to each other. Someone came into her eye care center, and then they called me, and we went down, and like I tell people, when I take the birds in, they stay with me. I do not buy birds, I do not sell birds, I do not breed birds. These birds, as long as I am able to care for them, we keep them in a natural environment so that they can be as comfortable as possible instead of confined in very small cages.
Yeah.
And Sierra here has some problems with her primary flight feathers. She does some chewing on them, but she doesn't chew anywhere else. And we're going to get that long tail to come out. And
Maybe when she has a lot of other birds around, she won't
yes,
be doing that.
because as of today, I've had Sierra 1 week, just 1 week, but doing very well. And we took in another bird with Sierra. It's a red-fronted macaw named Chandler. You're going to dance a little bit. You're going to dance for us. La, la, la.
I wish everyone was here so you could see these colors. Oh.
Yes, the hybrids, the first generations, are extremely beautiful colors. The patterns, you're going to dance. And they learned once they start a second generation and a third generation, the pattern changes. And the bird's feathering is very sporadically colored.
Are you happy?
But and in my case, I do not take many birds like this who have been pets that people were able to handle, and it's just a joy to have Sierra.
And she's happy.
Oh, she's happy. That's for sure.
You can
and
tell
again,
that.
she sees others of her own kind now that she lives with in an aviary.
And this
So-
little one just sits here. It's just as dear can be.
Come on, sweetheart.
Oh, my
Always
Lord.
keeping her eyes
Back
on
up.
John.
Oh, she
There we
watches her
go.
dad. Oh,
There we go.
you better believe it.
And something I need to mention, our last few shows here, my bird Harley was a Harlequin macaw. And 1995 is when I took Harley in. Harley had no feathers, was riddled with disease, Giardia internal parasites, and one disease called aspergillosis, which is an infection of their air sacs around their lungs. And last year I was told that one of Harley's air sacs was depleted and it was now dead, that I should be very careful. Harley passed away. I have his little
And we've
memorial
seen
here.
him. Haven't he's been on our show?
Oh yes, he's been on the show. But on the way to an expo in Virginia, Harley had one of his breathing episodes and he passed away. And I had him for 18 years, and we are very proud that we were able to have him for the 18 years that we did, and we know that we did nothing wrong in having him out. He was a great bird, and
Well, we enjoyed him when you brought him.
Yes.
He put an absolute show on, and he knew he was handsome.
but he has his little memorial. He still goes to all the shows, and he's one bird that we will never forget. And I was very honored. Shelby made a plaque for me, and do you think you can read that
Please
for us?
read that
Shelby?
for us.
I'll try.
Okay.
Okay, so in loving memory of Harley Leegee, born from 1980 to 2013. Miracles are so special. They happen on rare occasions and are such a sight to behold. Harley was indeed a miracle. Because of you, John Leegee, Harley was able to live as a healthy and happy bird. He didn't just survive, he thrived because of you. He was able to teach the world a valuable lesson because of you. Harley lived the best life he could because of you. Harley will forever live in our hearts. One day we will meet up with him again. Until then, he will be missed dearly. But know that it wouldn't have been possible without you. You, John, are a miracle.
And he is our miracle bird man.
And I thank you very much, Shelby, that you got
You're welcome.
that you got through that, because I couldn't have read
Nor
that
could I.
here on the
That
program.
was so dear.
But,
Oh my!
yes, we thank you so much for that.
And
yeah.
he's the little guy that was underneath the table. Is that the one that was under the table and all pecked all his feathers?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, he was a dear,
But,
dear boy.
Yes, and yeah, the parrot rescue is it's pretty much anymore just like dogs and cats. And so many of the humane societies, the shelters are at double, triple capacity, and they like to be no-kill shelters. And it's very hard to maintain that when we keep getting in abused, neglected dogs, cats, and now the parrots. They're getting to be the same way. And I tell people, I'm really at capacity myself. It starts to get overwhelming. So, but
I don't want to be mean.
You don't.
It's time.
It can't be time to go already.
It is. It is.
I talk too much.
No, you don't. That's what you're here for goodness sake.
Oh, well.
But I'm glad that we got in about Harley. And it is true. People are getting these birds, and once they get them, they don't realize. This is what we're trying to do. John tries to do these shows all the time.
If we have 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
We have 30 seconds.
Oh, we have an extra
We have a
special.
special guest here at another rescue of all things.
This story's crazy.
Tell about Ike.
All right, so this is Ike, and Ike is a box turtle native to the United States. He actually has come from a pet expo. Now, there was a reptile rescue that got him in, and they were wanting John, actually, to use Ike for his shows. And they persuaded him to take him, and his mother actually got Ike, and she was completely thrilled to have him. He's a great animal. He has almost a human-like personality, but whenever she had him out, he would just follow her around the house everywhere, and she was worried that she would trip and step on him because he would follow her so closely. So I ended up getting him in, and we can spend a lot of time with him, and he does really great out in the public, going to the Petco reptile rallies. Just to educate everyone about him.
So now we do. At the time, we really do. Shelby, I love you. I am so happy that you came today.
It's an honor to be here.
Oh, no, it's my honor. And you are the dearest and sweetest. And I know inside your heart that you're like John and like myself. There's just nothing in the whole world to love them when they're hurt and try to fix them up and give them a home and just sit like this little one here. She's just sitting here and loving her dad.
Oh, yeah.
So there's just unbelievable. So like always, I want to say, remember your humane societies. Times are getting bad for people and the humane societies. Please, if you could send money. If not, sheets, towels, blankets. If they're not good enough for the homeless and you don't want to throw them away, send them to your Humane Society. They need them for the puppies and operations and things like that. I have a dear friend that's been under the weather, and I thought I'd say, hi, Bob. I love you. And get well. Please, please. And like always, I want to say, I love you. And thanks from all the tail waggers.